The 5 most expensive weddings. Hello lovely YouTube family, welcome back to WoW Videos. In today's videos we are going to talk about the 5 most expensive weddings. Before we start though, I would want you to hit that red subscribe button so you never miss out on any of our videos. When it comes to spending money, most couples put aside a significant amount for their wedding day, which is understandable as it usually is a once in a lifetime occasion. Some couples are even more extravagant with no holds bar. The world has seen its fair share of jaw-droppingly pricing weddings. From actors and singers to royalty, many of high society's finest have pulled out all the stops when it comes to getting their wedding budget, ensuring that their special day was absolutely unforgettable. Without further ado, here are the 5 most expensive weddings of all time. Number 5, a Spanish alliance. Catherine of Aragon is best known for being the first wife of the infamous Henry VIII. But prior to her marriage to the British monarch, Spanish-born Catherine was wed to the first prince of the Tudor royal family, Arthur, Henry's elder brother in 1501. The wedding was an extremely lavish event, one of the most magnificent weddings of the medieval era, and even by modern standards, which would have been considered extravagant. The bride and groom wore expensive white satin outfits, and a full 7 days of jousting and tournaments were among the highlights of the celebrations. A children's choir singing at Baynard's Castle entertained the couples following their ceremony and vow exchange. The ceremony itself was officiated by the Archbishop of the Canterbury at the time, Henry Dean, and took place at the St. Paul's Cathedral in London. A fountain of wine was eradicated outside, adjacent to the cathedral. At the time, the wedding was unusual in that it was a very openly public affair. Previously, royal weddings had largely been held in private, and monarchs tended to be very secretive about their nuptial events. But this particular ceremony was deliberately grandiose with much publicity in an attempt to show the newly formed alliance between England and Spain. With celebrity budgets for weddings growing in scale, it will be interesting to see who will break the world record in future years for the most expensive wedding of all time. Number 4, Guinness World Record holder. According to Guinness World Records, the most expensive wedding ever officially recorded took place in Versailles, France in 2004 and racked up an eye-watering $55 million price tag. The happy bride and groom were Vanisha Mittal and Amit Bhatia. Vanisha's father is the Indian billionaire steel tycoon Lakeshi Mittal, who was, at the time, the third richest person in the world, making him well suited to pick up the bill for only his daughter's big day. The lavish wedding lasted for 6 days and included an engagement ceremony reenactment in the Palace of Versailles itself, a firework display and concert by Australian pop singer Kylie Minogue at the Eiffel Tower, and a ceremony in the Chateau Villa Vicomte, which was once owned by King Louis XIV's Superintendent of Finances Nicolas Fouquet. No fewer than 1,000 guests were in attendance of Vanisha and Amit's wedding of the century, each flown from India to Paris on 12 jets, and accommodated in the 5-star hotel La Grande International at the cost of $2 million. Number 3, modern royalty. Definitely not in the same league as the Ottoman wedding, but the wedding of Princess Diana and Prince Charles in 1981 was undeniably the grandest royal wedding of the 20th century. Televised and watched by approximately 750 million viewers, the sheer scale of wedding was so vast that many as 3,500 guests attended the ceremony at St. Paul's Cathedral. At the time, the wedding cost in the region of $48 million, therefore not making it into the Guinness Book of World Records. But adjusted for inflation, it means that the wedding's expense was more equivalent to $110 million. An elaborate 10,000 pearls covered Diana's dress, and the couples opted for not just one, but 27 wedding cakes. Number 2, a French alliance. Although it's hard to quantify in today's money, it's thought that the wedding between Margaret of York and Charles the Bold of Burgundy, France, in 1468 cost in the region of the equivalent of $200 million. Margaret was no mere commoner, as she and the sister of Edward IV and Richard III, both of whom became the King of England, her French husband Charles was a duke who had been married twice previously. He chose Margaret for his third wife despite being offered the hand of French King Louis's 9th daughter, Anne, which he declined, opting instead to ally his region with Burgundy with England. According to historical records, the extravagant wedding took place in neither France nor England, but rather in Bruges in Belgium, where Charles was made the Knight of the Garter, which was the most senior ordeal of the knighthood in the British honor system. It's thought that the huge celebration was an affair lasting several days and consisted of traditional medieval festivities such as jousting, feasting, and performances. The bride was transported in a white horse-drawn gold litter, and she wore a beautiful gown trimmed with emerine. A bespoke crown decorated with pearls and diamonds was made for her wedding day. Number 1, the Ottoman Empire. As with all historical weddings, the cost of ceremonies in centuries past are vague with few measurable references and documentation. However, Imperial Ottoman weddings were known for their opulence and grandeur. If the thought of a several-day-long wedding sounds indulgent, the sultans of Ottoman Empire and their sons and daughters beat this considerably, as weddings often took place over several weeks. One such wedding which has been recorded was the marriage of Hasdus Sultan to Muship and Mustafa Pasha in the 17th century. The wedding lasted 2.5 weeks, and included many parades and ceremonies, contests between athletes and wrestlers, singing and dancing, firework displays, and an array of shows and theater performances took place during the 18th event. The particular wedding saw an incredible display of artificial trees in varying sizes with silver leaves. The largest tree was up to 5 meters wide, and it was pulled across the city by 200 slaves in an astonishing procession. Anything in its path, including houses, was simply demolished. With thousands of gifts for the bride including diamonds, jewels, food, furnishings, and many more, the wedding was unlike anything the modern world has seen before. That's all for today. I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so that you never miss any amazing video from us.